What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Damion Crier, and I am back with another video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, blessed, and amazing day today. Your boy is doing okay today. If you have not subscribed to the Crier family, all you have to do is turn that bell on. But turn the bell on only means you are subscribed to the channel. In order to get notifications, you must turn on the bell with the vibrating symbol. That way, every time I drop a video on the Crier family, you, and of course, you as well will get the notification. Also, we are doing a Crier family giveaway for the next several weeks on the Crier family. The giveaways are usually on a Tuesday, so keep your notifications on for that, for your chance to win one of the giveaways. In order to enter one of the giveaways, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, smash that like button, and leave a positive comment. The giveaway costs you absolutely nothing to enter any of my giveaways. So, I'm out of breath. As you guys can see by the title, I am doing a Q&A today. I have posted on my community wall earlier that, actually let me see exactly what I posted earlier. I put Q&A, my worst fears tonight. I need 30 questions. So I did get 65 of those questions, 326 likes as of right now. Now, looking at most of the questions, guys, most of them weren't questions pertaining to my worst fears. So even though most of the questions weren't pertaining to my worst fears, there were some questions that were pertaining to my worst fears. So I'm just going to kind of just pick through here and find something that actually pertains to the topic of today's video. Also, thank you guys who took the time out of your busy day today to comment on my community post. It means a lot to me. It means that you guys have notifications on and you guys are engaged as much as I am engaged in doing the videos. So I thank you guys for that. It's always a blessing whenever I post something like that and actually get feedback from you guys. So once again, thank you guys so much again for that. So I'm going to read off some of my worst fears from off of here. And then I'm going to also tell you guys personally what some of my worst fears are, were, and still is right now to this day. So I'm about to put my glasses on because you know I'm an old man, so I have to have my readers on to be able to see these little bitty small words. Somebody asks, what are you more scared of, heights or speed of car? Talking like really fast. Oh, did I just get really dark? I am one dark dude, man. Sometimes I get dark and then I'll lighten back up on the camera. So I'm gonna read it one more time, guys. What are you more scared of, heights or the speed of cars? So I would have to say, for me, one of my worst fears, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, is heights. I am extremely terrified of heights. I'm gonna give you guys a little story real quick. Before 2014, I had never in my life flown on an airplane. So being that I've been to multiple amusement parks where they have like the roller coasters and the crazy fast rides, I would never ever get on those rides because I'm so scared of those rides. 2014, I worked for a steel mill called Valbrona. That's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Actually, there's one out here in Houston, Texas as well. It's a warehouse. I was asked in 2014 to fly to Italy, Vicenza, Italy. So I got a passport, and the company that I worked for was a steel mill company in Fort Wayne, which is owned by the Italians over in Vicenza, Italy, which is the mother home. I was asked to fly over to Vicenza, Italy for a 2-week training course. And I had agreed to that. And I had never flown before then. The flight, guys, was a 14-hour flight. 37,000 feet off the ground at 500 and something miles per hour speed. My first time flying. So you can say I was pretty well broken in by the time I made the flight to Vicenza, Italy, and back to the United States. And mind you, that was my first time ever leaving either the United States. I would have liked the thought that my first time flying would have been on a puddle jumper. Basically, I'm up in the air for like an hour and right back on the ground within an hour. But that didn't happen for my first flight. So I have to say, one of my worst fears is heights. Speed on the ground does not bother me as much. It all depends on who's driving the car. If I'm in control of the speed of the car and I'm doing 80, 90 or something like that, I can control it. But if I'm in a passenger seat and somebody else is driving, like my son, for instance, I've been in a Lamborghini with him multiple times where he literally gave me a heart attack and he knew it. And all he did was look at me and was like, "Dad, you good?" You know, scared the living brakes off me. This is a question somebody asked me that doesn't pertain to the topic of discussion, but I'm going to respond to this person because they were nice enough to comment. They said, "Damion, do you plan on have any more kids? If so, how many?" Before baby Crier was born, I didn't know that I was going to have another son right away, but I had always spoke that I did want at least one more child. He is so special to me. All of my kids are very, very dear to me. At the time, I wasn't for sure if I wanted another child or not. Now, I don't know how true it is, but I think Diana Ross, the celebrity singer, had her last child, I think when she was 50 years old. Quote me if I'm wrong on that. If I did have any more kids, I would love to be married. I said I would never get married again, but the truth of the matter is I do want to get married again one day because I am a family person. That's why I try to watch what I put out there on social media, especially like when I'm upset, when I'm going through something. I don't want to put anything out there that's going to confuse the viewers or the people who's watching. But yes, I would like to have more kids one day, but hopefully by the grace of God, if I do have any more kids, I would definitely be married. My question is, are you still talking to the Prince family, and how is Mia? Mia is doing okay. She is being what she is, a spoiled dog. Very, 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 very spoiled. And the question is, am I still talking to the Prince family? Those are my children. Me and my kids are gonna always talk, whether we go through a bad situation or not. Sometimes family, it's kind of hard to explain, but sometimes family is just what it is. You're gonna have problems with family, you're gonna have your disagreements, and then you're gonna have times where you're not having your disagreements. But as far as do I still talk to my kids, the Prince family, basically I love all of my children all the same. I love all of my children equally, no matter what we go through. Somebody asked, this is another question that's way different from the topic, but I'm still going to respond because they were nice enough to take the time out of their day. Somebody asked, do you think the Darian and Damon drama will stop when Darian comes back, or will the drama come back? As far as I'm concerned, guys, there is no drama. There hasn't been any drama for months. I had said several times in earlier videos that I was moving the Crier family far away from any type of drama. Even if the drama comes my way, I would have to just take it, deal with how it makes me feel, and just swallow it and just keep it moving, because at the same time, as a YouTuber, I have to realize and have come to the realization that I have a lot of kids around the world watching my channel. And it's like, what type of example am I setting if I continue to do the same thing? So the drama will not continue on. That's a thing of the past. Someone asks, how are you doing after your son's death? Now, I don't know if I confused some people when I did the video in Fort Wayne who thinking that my oldest son had just passed recently. He passed just a little bit over 3 years ago, which is in 2017. While I was in Indiana, I faced one of my worst fears, which was actually going to the cemetery and visiting Deontay's gravesite for the first time. Shame on me as a parent for taking so long to be able to go out there and see him like that. But it wasn't a situation that just occurred. It's just a situation that's gonna always be new to me as far as my son is concerned. Somebody asks, biggest fear of your children leaving the nest. I think, I'm not for sure how she meant that question. She said, my biggest fear of my children leaving the nest. I'm gonna take that as basically, one of my biggest fears that I've always had has actually come true. One of the worst fears that any parent could ever imagine has actually happened to me. As our children get older, we always have this fear of them getting out on their own, moving out on their own, starting their own life, starting their own journey in life. And when they move out, and like most of them are driving before they actually move out the house. Most of them have driver's license or learner permits, they're already driving. It is so scary to even think about one of your kids having an accident, because we all know it's not your driving that you have to watch. It's the driving actions of other people that you have to watch. You can be the perfect driver in the world, but then you have some idiot out there on the road who's probably in the car arguing with his significant other, or vice versa, and they're just driving crazy and something ends up happening to you or one of your children. So I've always had the worst fear of like my kids being out on their own. Darian just turned 13 years old, and I know pretty soon, he's gonna be coming into a young adulthood. And so that's scary for me as well. I know Darian likes to play a lot of contact sports like basketball and baseball and football and stuff. So I'm always fearing, that he's gonna get injured. Then baby Crier, I'm definitely terrified, because he is so small, so innocent. And it's like all he really have to protect him is just me and his mom. So I'm always terrified of like people who's around my kids, especially my youngest kids, who's touching them, who's kissing on them, who's picking them up. I think that's like any parent's fear. But, that's always one of my worst fears of the kids leaving the nest. When they get older and they move out, they start to come into their own little, way. I can tell you this right here. When I was in Indiana recently, and Darian was sitting in the passenger seat of my car, and I happened to look over at him, and as he was staring down at his phone, I could see like a little glimmer of little mustache hairs coming in right up under his lip. So I'm thinking to myself like, oh my God, my son is getting facial hairs already. So, it's always scary. I guess, to me, I wish that we lived in a world where we could just keep them where they're at right now. Like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. That way they never have to go through adulthood and experience what we experienced, like the struggle of paying bills, getting cars repossessed, getting evicted, not having enough money to pay for bills and groceries, the worst fear of having to move back home with their parents because they feel like that they done failed at proving to us that they're responsible. So yeah, but thank you for that question. Somebody asks, what was your worst fear when you got in trouble with the law? Oh my God, that was a really good question. One of my worst fears of getting in trouble with the law is, it's like, we all like say for instance, like when we get into like a fight or argument with somebody, or we steal something, or somebody say that they want to call the police on you, and the first thing we think when we upset is like, I don't give a, call it police. But then when the police actually gets there, you're, like, I can't speak to nobody else, but my tone always changes, because it's like, wow, the reality of the police is actually here. They, they got their little hands on their radios blaring. You don't know what all these codes is that they're talking about, but you know that they're there for you. And it's like when the police actually showed up, I knew I was in trouble. And so one of my worst fears was getting in trouble, was like, I didn't know like what the results were. The first thing they ask for when they pull up is your ID. So they can call it in to make sure you don't have any warrants for your arrest, or you're not wanted. And in the back of your mind, when they're making that call, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, did I pay that speeding ticket? Oh my God, did I miss a court hearing or anything? Because you know that something's going to come back. But even when something comes back, even when nothing comes back, everything comes back negative, you still have that fear of getting locked up because of what they were called out for. And sometimes my worst fear end up coming true. I end up getting myself put in handcuffs and put in the back of a squad car. Somebody asked, what are you most scared of? Drowning or burning? What am I most scared of? Drowning or burning? I'm scared of both of them because, like, I would say my worst fear would be if I burned. I know, like, it's gonna be like a really, really slow death. And you're gonna feel it all the way through, like smelling your own skin burning and cooking and all that good stuff. I mean bad stuff, not good stuff. But then there's the thing of the drowning part. You go into the water and it's a lot of water. The drowning would be a really hard one for me because I actually lost a son to drowning. That right there is a really good question. I guess one of my worst fears would be drowning. I would have to answer that question honestly and say my worst fear of burning or drowning would be drowning, because I know I love water sports. I love being around the water. I've always been like a water sports person, not like skiing and stuff like that, but I love boats. I love fishing, and a lot of times I'm out there without a life vest on, without the proper protection. So I would say drowning. So I've definitely had I don't really have to tell you guys, but I had a reality check already on that. So that was a really good question. Next question, what are you more scared of, Momo or Bloody Mary? I'm not for sure what Momo is, guys. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Bloody Mary, I'm gonna tell you guys my vision of a Bloody Mary. And I know that this may not even be the Bloody Mary that this person is talking about in the comment section of the community post. My vision of a Bloody Mary is like dreams I used to have as a kid. Like, there's this lady named Mary, and she has this white gown on. She has this white gown on, and it's a long white gown. And she has this really long blonde hair, and you can't even really see her face because her bangs from her long hair comes around the front and covers everything up. And she's walking with this long gown on. She's gliding across the floor, and her whole gown is drenched in blood. And she puts her hands up like this, and she has all this blood in her hair on her hands, and she's screaming while she's walking towards me like, ah! And that's my dream of a Bloody Mary. So I think, because I've always had dreams about a Bloody Mary when I was growing up, I think I would take the Momo. I don't even know what the heck a Momo is. Please leave me a comment in the comment section if you're watching this video and let me know what a Momo is. Someone asked, are you going to change your hairstyle? To be honest with you guys, and the person who asked the question, am I going to change my hairstyle? Probably not. I think that the hairstyle that I have right now is very appropriate for someone my age. I used to have really long hair for a lot of years, and I used to have to get it braided, and I'm really tender-headed. I had thought about letting it grow out a little bit, but then I decided against it. It's just the hairstyle I rock, like I said, it's nothing fancy. It's something that's very appropriate for somebody my age. First impression means everything. So I feel like the hairstyle that I rock right now, for me, is presentable in any type of setting. So I probably will not change my hairstyle. I'm probably gonna just rock the short haircut and just keep the taper on the side going. Sides faded and the top dark. I just feel kind of comfortable with this hairstyle. Somebody asked, what was your worst ride you got on as a kid? That's a very good question. I remember, I don't know if I was like, I know I was really young. I had to be like, I must say about 14. give or take, 13 or 14. My mom sent me to my grandmother's one day to go and help my grandmother out with the yard, do some yard work and take the trash out and stuff like that. So as I was walking over to my grandmother's house, which wasn't far from my mom's house, one of my uncles had rolled past on his motorcycle and had seen me. So he picked me up on his motorcycle and I got on the back of it. He told me to hang on. And that was one of my most scariest rides in my life because I had never been on a motorcycle. And now I've never actually driven one, but being a passenger on the back of one, it just felt really, really weird. I don't know, but that's always stuck with me. And it's always been something that I remembered. I don't like motorcycles. I don't like the sound of them. I don't like how they make me feel. And I am scary, terrified of motorcycles. And they only have 2 wheels. So that's one of the most scariest rides I've ever been on. One of my worst fears that I have, guys, and this is like a continuous thing for me. One of my worst fears is like waking up one day and I can't move my body, like my arms and legs. And I have had this fear for like the last couple, 3-4 years maybe. I just woke up one morning and I couldn't feel like my body parts, like my legs or arms. You know, I could sit up like my back, but my legs or arms would not respond to the rest of my body. So that's one of my worst fears that I still deal with to this day. Another one of my worst fears is being alone. One of my worst fears is being alone. I'm like an older person now, and even though, you know, I do what I do and I say things that I say, one of my worst fears is being alone because I don't think nobody wants to be alone. So that's another one of my fears. Another one of my fears is spiders. You guys know I hate spiders. I hate spiders with a passion. I cannot stand spiders. I hate them, 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 I hate them. And they have so many freaking legs on them, like so many moving parts. I'm just scared of all that stuff that's moving. And last but not least, guys, one of my worst fears, and I still struggle with this right now to this very day. One of my worst fears is going to sleep and not waking up and my family or loved ones not knowing that I passed away until many days later. That is one of my worst fears in the world. I live by myself, and it's like I don't deal with a lot of people. I don't get a lot of phone calls like that. I don't have a lot of people calling to check on me. I got family like in Indiana that calls and check on me. A couple people down here in Texas, every once in a while they might hit my line. One of my worst fears is passing away in my sleep, and my loved ones doesn't know about it until multiple days have passed by, and they end up finding out that I had passed on. So that's always been like one of my worst fears right there. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A and knowing about my worst fears with the Cryer family. Whew, I love you guys, man. If you have another video suggestion or idea that you want me to do on the Cryer family, all you have to do is leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and you know your boy gonna make it happen. But until next time, I'm Damion Cryer. I love you guys, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Peace.